Hello, this is Disco. I just wanted to go over some stuff for the tournament this weekend, like stuff you need to bring, make sure you've got some rules and stuff, and also I want to give you a few tips. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over what you need to bring. Make sure you've got your 3 Bakugan and your cards. Got your red, blue, and green ability cards. Any reference cards, but specifically your gold, silver, and copper cards too. And your equipment. And if your equipment uses any reference cards, make sure you bring those too. The thing is, for your equipment, just want to make sure you know. It has to be 2 items, but it can be any combination of the following. It can be 2 traps, or it could be a trap and a gear like what I had, the reference card. It could be 2 gear with that reference card as well. Always make sure you've got your reference card. Or it could have a Bakugan Mobile Assault in there. Just make sure you include the card for that too. Or it could be that in a trap. But either way, it could be 2 Bakugan Mobile Assaults as well, but I only have 1, so I can only show you. Just has to be 2 items on the side, can be any combination of gears, traps, or Bakugan Mobile Assault. Just make sure that the attribute on your Mobile Assault lines up with your Bakugan's attribute, because it cannot be used with a Bakugan that, well, doesn't match the attribute. If you're using an evolution, like this Quake Dragonoid that you can barely see in the light, make sure you bring its reference card, otherwise you won't be able to use its ability. First off, about gate cards. If I'm sitting here, facing that way, then when I put my first gate card down, it will be over here. This is my opponent's gate card, they put it right there. And they're only replaced until there are absolutely none left on the field. Let's say I just won that one, and my opponent just won that one. And now, since there's nothing left here, we put down another pair. I put mine there, and he puts his there. Remember your field layout too. If I'm sitting here, then my unused pile is going to be on my right side, and my used pile is going to be on my left side. After a battle is over, let's see, he lost, so I get this card, and it goes to my used pile, and so does this fellow. Now at the start of my turn, just go away. If I have nothing left to roll, then everything, all the Bakugan anyway, no cards, everything from my used pile comes over to my unused pile. If I've rolled a Bakugan and either I miss, then it goes to the used pile, and it stays there until I get all my Bakugan over there. It doesn't matter if you have a trap or a gear over here, you have to have no rollable Bakugan. All of those guys have to be over there. Then at the start of your turn, bring them back all over here. Also, about battle gear. Any Bakugan can use gear. Now there are some that are compatible, like this Aeronaut. If I take this, it just means that it stands on the Bakugan rather than on the card. But if you had, say he wasn't here, say you had this guy. In that case, you would just take the gear and just set it on the card with the Bakugan. Very important thing. Remember your ability cards. They're there to help you get an edge. Red ones are usually played before battle. They're usually the setup cards. They determine who ends up where, or if your opponent plays something then you can play this instead. But it usually helps set up where somebody ends up. The blue ones are going to be your G-point bonuses. They tend to always give you a G-point boost, and it's usually during a battle. Of course, that's the only time that would be factored in. Always pick one that gives you the best boost for your Bakugan. These very important green cards, they're usually played during a battle, and they usually determine right then who the winner is, depending on what extra thing gets thrown in with the card. But, you know, pick out your cards accordingly. Pick out cards that would help your critters or disrupt your opponent. But, you know, anything that blends in well with your strategy and with your gate cards. Very important. When you're picking out gate cards, remember this. Your gold gate card is most likely going to be your character card, and it's going to give a big boost to at least one of your Bakugan. In this case, it's going to be this Miner's. Your silver gate, make sure that it gives the biggest boost to your attribute, which you can't do, and at least, at the very best, 100 more than something else, but at least try to put a 10 to 20 G difference between it and the second largest attribute on the card. Anyway, your third one, if it doesn't give a boost to at least one of your critters, like this one says lowest one wins, and this fellow back here only has like 280 G, then try to make it to where it gives all of your critters an advantage. Now, Bakugan Mobile Assault. At the very start of your game, you choose one of your Bakugan with a matching attribute symbol to the Mobile Assault. You set it right there in the little cup there where it goes. Also try to get it magnet pointed down, that's going to be very important. When you're ready to roll, you just roll it straight at the codes. And it opens up, the magnet slides down and opens the Bakugan on top as well. If something happens to send this guy out of the game, you know, completely out, like Doom card, then this goes with it. If it ends up on an incompatible gate card, like Jackalier, let me take a look. Jackalier says silver and copper. If he ends up on a gold gate card, this comes off of him and is completely out of the game. You can't bring it back, but he keeps on going. Also, if you're using an evolution, when you get to the right power level on your reference card, then you can evolve. What you do is you take your whole turn, put this guy out of play, and put him in. And the whole rest of the game, that Bakugan has been replaced with this one. So you're only going to be using this one, and leave that one out. Here are some tips. The first thing is always, you should know how your Bakugan rolls and how to roll your Bakugan. So practice rolling your Bakugan. Then you'll know the best way to get it to go, and to get it to stand. Just remember that your goal is to get 3 gate cards into your used pile, whether they're yours or your opponent's. You're using 3 gate cards, and your opponent has another 3 gate cards, so you have to get half that many cards into your used pile. It's also really important not to waste your gear or abilities or any other things that will give your Bakugan an advantage. If you're already winning, wait until your opponent has done whatever they need to do or want to do, and then decide whether or not you need to use something. If you just go ahead and throw your gear on there when you already have an advantage, then you're just going to be wasting it. Also consider strategies that give you advantage if you're losing. There are certain gear and abilities that, if you're losing by a certain amount, allow you to get either other gate cards or ability cards back from your used pile, or even from your opponent's used pile. I hope that these tips offer some help in building your strategy, and I'll see you at the tournament this Saturday.